Good evening, folks. This is Ron with the Emergency Management Associates. We want to welcome everybody here that has been joining us, and anybody else that will be joining us tonight or on a delayed broadcast. Please know that you're more than welcome to be here. We're glad to have you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome you to our program tonight. As we've been doing for quite a long time, we're going to start off this program with the Pledge of Allegiance and the United States National Anthem. I would ask everyone now to please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome, straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Oh yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
America's finest, the United States Army Barbershop Quartet, sung our nation's national anthem And after that, or before that I should say, the Barbershop Quartet Convention host in 2015 gave us a Pledge of Allegiance, and we really appreciate that. Folks, thank you for bearing with us. This is one of the best parts of our day. We appreciate this oh so very much. Now folks, a lot is going on, as all of you may know. One of the things I want to talk about today is number 43. Or is it 45? Number 45. His picture is up here on our slide right now. Mr. T was indicted again today, just about an hour ago, for trying to overturn the 2020 election. Former President DT has been indicted by the grand jury convened by Special Counsel Jack Smith to investigate Mr. T and his allies in their attempts to overturn the 2020 election. The grand jury convened by Special Counsel Jack Smith to investigate Mr. T and his allies. Trump has been charged with 4 counts: conspiracy to defraud the United States by using dishonesty, fraud, and deceit to obstruct the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election, and conspiracy to impede the January 6th congressional proceeding, conspiracy against the right to vote and to have that vote counted, and obstruction of and attempt to obstruct and impede the certification of the electoral election, the electoral vote. Members of the grand jury met at the courthouse earlier today. Mr. T announced at July 8th that he had received a letter from Special Counsel Jack Smith notifying him he was a target of a grand jury examining the January 6th riot and the 2020 election. A new indictment was filed last week in a separate special counsel investigation of Mr. T involving his alleged mishandling of classified records. The indictment brought more charges against the former president and a top aide and added a new charge to another defendant, Carlos D. Oliveri, a property manager at Mar-a-Lago who helped move boxes allegedly of classified documents. Okay, so that's the news story today. Now there is so much going on about this, it's not even funny. There are charges now brought by Congress to indict the sitting president, Joseph Biden, on tons of charges. It looks like they're going to hold an impeachment proceeding in the House of Representatives because of his crimes against humanity, his crimes against the United States, the citizens of the United States, and treason and high crimes and misdemeanors, as well as sedition. He is not just being indicted by himself. Kamala Harris has also been brought up on charges as well. So we're going to see this play out. Now, folks, this is quite a big deal, as you can imagine. But the problem is this. Let me show you. Okay? Something really fishy has been going on. June 7th here. Okay? I want to make sure you guys can see this. In fact, I'm going to make it full screen for a minute. Okay? June 7th this year. The FBI released documents to Congress alleging the Bidens took a $10 million bribe from Burisma. I saw the report last night, and it is valid. June 8th, the day later, Jack Smith indicted Trump on the Mar-a-Lago docks case. July 28th, Hunter Biden goes to court and rejects a sweetheart plea deal after it was revealed that the Department of Justice tried to give him blanket immunity from future prosecutions. Isn't that interesting? trying to make sure that Hunter Biden goes throughout the rest of his life with a clean slate, even though he committed many, many felonies during the past 15 years. Then, July 27th, Jack Smith added more charges for Trump in the Mar-a-Lago case. July 31st, Hunter Biden's business partner testified to Congress that Joe Biden was guilty and had over 20 calls with his son's business partners, and that Burisma executives pressured them to fire the prosecutor in the UKR. Isn't that interesting? Every one of these charges are valid. Okay? I've done a lot of work on this. I've done a lot of background investigation. Every one of these charges will stick. Congress, the House of Representatives, will indict Biden and Kamala Harris. But the problem is, they are Democrat communists. And the DOJ, the Department of Justice, is doing everything that they can to stop any indictment. And when Congress goes through and impeaches Biden and Harris, that case has to go to the United States House or Senate, the United States Senate. And when that happens, the Senate, which is comprised of a majority of Democrat communists, they're going to see the case and they're going to say, oh no, we're not going to even take this up. Isn't that how it goes? The blind leading the blind, and nothing happens because the one party that is responsible for all of this is going to get rid of the charge. What else is going to happen? You and I, all of us, are going to suffer because of these communists in charge of our country. Now, with all that said, we also had a huge rate increase. Okay? A huge increase in the amount of money that we can be borrowing at. Okay? The percentage rate went up another 50% higher. Okay? So now I believe it's 5.5%. Then it'll go up to 6% and probably higher before the end of this year. Money's already tight. A major transportation company that has trucks on the road called Yellow has filed for bankruptcy. They don't have money to pay their truckers. They don't have the product to ship because the government has made sure that the products that were out there that they had been shipping are no longer available. Food and all kinds of manufactured goods are not available. And a lot of trucks are sitting up in Los Angeles in the Los Angeles harbor, great big huge trailers just waiting to be put on the back of a semi-truck to be hauled to a destination are sitting there. Okay? Biden is making sure that any imports are not going anywhere. Okay? Store shelves are again going bare. Prices again are going up. Our gas price in the last 2.2 weeks, meaning 2 weeks and 2 days, has skyrocketed from $3.07 a gallon to now over $3.50 a gallon in 2 weeks, right here where I live. A lot of you guys may think, oh my gosh, it's low. Well, guess what? It's going up everywhere. Literally everywhere. All of us are going to pay for what these Democrat communists have done. And if that's not enough, look what they've done to our border. Look what they've done to our countries. All of us It doesn't matter whether you are in England, Italy, France, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Australia, Japan, anywhere. All of our countries are being overrun by immigrants from other countries, and it's not just Mexico. As I've stated before in this program, these immigrants have their papers all the way through until they get to the country that they're going to, and then they lose them. They lose them so the countries that they're going to won't understand who they are. They won't find out who they are. Criminals, military men from Russia and China are invading our countries, the United States included. Millions of people have immigrated in the past 2 years. We have far outpaced our own finances because we are paying these immigrants that come into the United States. We ship them all over the place. Our cities like Chicago and New York are offended because they are getting more and more immigrants. But they, before this all started, they claimed to be a sanctuary city. And so more and more migrants were shipped there. And now they're saying, oh my gosh, we can't handle this. Putting more and more stress on all of us. Less and less food to go around. Less and less gas to go around. And what happens if these people indeed are military men from other countries? We know for a fact that a lot of them are criminals, because as soon as they commit a crime here in the United States and are arrested for it, we found out that these same people have also been arrested in countries of origin, when we finally find out who they really are. Isn't that interesting? So now our courts are also backed up, because we don't have the people in charge to stop it all from happening. And all of us are paying for it. The amount of money that is being spent right now today, just since they signed in the new budget for Washington, Biden, guess what? It's risen up, the national debt has risen up to $1.6 trillion more from where it was, just since Biden signed the document. The national debt has risen up $1.6 trillion more. It's crazy. It's insane. I wanted to make sure I started this program out with this because I thought it was important for each of us to realize where we are and why. Where we are and why. Okay? So given all of that, it's up to us to go to our congressmen and senators and make sure we put them on notice that if they continue in the way they're doing, they will be out of a job come November 2nd next year. Let's put that in their coffee and let them drink it. Something else is also going on that a lot of people don't even realize, and I didn't even realize it myself until today. We've been talking a lot about the Three Gorges Dam in China. Every time they get a little bit of rain, they suffer a lot of flooding up and down the entire area there. Let me tell you a little bit about the Three Gorges Dam in China and why it is so controversial. One of the most controversial aspects of that huge mega project to build that dam is its enormous cost for villagers who had lived for centuries on the banks of the river. To make way for the dam's massive reservoir, about 1.4 million people were uprooted, their ancestral homes demolished, communities broken up and farmlands flooded. Based on the length of the earthquake fault under the dam And on GPS data showing how the ground is moving around it, this fault could possibly store enough energy to generate an earthquake large enough to cause damage to the Three Gorges Dam. An 8.0 earthquake could happen on that dam. They've already had earthquakes there because of the weight of the water on the ground there. But that fault line could cause an 8.0 massive earthquake in China. Not to be outdone. Okay? Millions of people could be at risk downstream if that dam should fail. The flow of silt into the reservoir is a recognized problem which has badly affected other hydroelectric plants in China. This has been addressed partly by reforestation in the upper reaches of the river, but it still could significantly shorten the dam's expected lifespan of 50 years. Now another problem. As I stated before, heavy rains have flooded that area, and water is going up and over the dam. The dam is precariously hanging on for its own life. It's possible that the Three Gorges Dam could give way. And that, my friends, could be a good deal for all of us. And you might wonder why or how that could be possible. How is it possible with the Three Gorges Dam having a problem in China? How will that affect us? Folks, I'm going to tell you. The Three Gorges Dam collapse is imminent. Our Earth is about to go through the birth pangs of a new age. We're beginning to wake up and realize our true power and destiny. Think about that. Our true power and our destiny. I think this is real. Okay? A picture of one of the locks of the dam shows how easy it is to smuggle children into the tunnel there, an underground tunnel under the Three Gorges Dam. Boats going in and out, exporting and importing goods and services. If the dam collapses, these locks, the raise and lower water to keep the ship going through the lock system to go further downriver. If these locks fail, all of the ability to import and export goods will disappear. The result? A market collapse. Look at the boats coming in and out of there all day long. I should have gotten pictures to show you this, but I want to tell you what's going on. Big, huge boats are out there going through that huge set of locks at the dam in that reservoir. They're bringing children in as well. Okay? They're brought in children in and out for child trafficking. We talked about child trafficking during the last 2 weeks. A very easy and discreet way without anyone noticing. Child trafficking. The event of the together breaking of the three-ship dam needs to be explained, as there are still many who do not understand the implications and what it means when this event finally happens. Number one, we take out 24 nuclear reactors for GESARA, G-E-S-A-R-A, GESARA. We take out 24 nuclear reactors for GESARA. 2, we take out Bitcoin mining and destroy the deep state. Destroying the deep state fee used for child trafficking, we get the GFS, the QFS, Quantum Financial System. Quantum Financial System. Okay? 3, we take out big pharma and we get the cures, med beds, for example. All of the above adopt the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. It's necessary to realize that everything is linked to the collapse of the Three Gorges Dam. This is the event. This is how General Flynn and Julian Assange will be freed. The more people who understand that nothing will happen until that dam collapses, the better. Our near future may look exciting. Our lives might be filled with healings and abundance. It all revolves around the event at the Three Gorges Dam, the dam breaking. I wanted to share that with you. I got a couple, 3 messages in my message box earlier today with this information, and it said share it, and that's exactly what we're doing. I'm showing you the significance of the Three Gorges Dam breaking. In the past 2.5 years that I've been doing this program,
Okay, let's go.
we have talked about the Three Gorges Dam breaking because of all the water behind it. The Chinese technology of that dam is not as good as even the United States, and I'm not saying anything about our United States dams because a lot of them have their own problems. But the Three Gorges Dam could break, and it's presently in a condition of breaking. There's a lot of water going down in terms of rain, a lot of flooding. Okay? So this is what happens. The dam breaks, causing all kinds of hate and discontent in China, which helps out the rest of us all around the world. Okay? So I wanted to talk about that. Possibly on Thursday or Friday, I will have a program dealing with nothing but this. I want to be able to take questions and deal with all of this. Okay? Right now we're in the perfect condition to lose everything we have. And I'm going to try to do my darndest to make sure you have the information necessary to make decisions on our own future and our family's future. I think it's absolutely necessary that we have all of this. Okay? So let's do that. The next thing I want to do is talk about the tropics. The tropicals. Okay? The Western Atlantic. Showers and thunderstorm activity continues in association with gale force non-tropical low pressure systems located over the Western Atlantic and several hundred miles south of Nova Scotia. The low that is forecast to move quickly toward the east-northeast at 30 to 35 miles per hour, reaching colder waters overnight, resulting in that system being unlikely to become a tropical storm. Additional information on that low includes gale force warnings that can be found in high seas forecasts issued by the National Weather Service. Formation chances through the next 48 hours, low. A 10% low because that storm front is reaching into colder waters, which will result in dissolving that storm into almost nothing but rain. That's the only thing that will happen there. Okay? Rain. There's tropical depressions everywhere. This is what we're talking about right here. 2 different tropical depressions. Okay? This is the outlook. That first one will hit probably Nova Scotia by the end of the week. Okay? The other one, there's probably a 40% chance of that doing anything. Literally. Okay? Let me show you why. Look at this. This is out in the western Atlantic Ocean, west of the Atlantic, mid-Atlantic earthquake fault, the Atlantic Ridge. Look at that cone of uncertainty. It looks right now that the only place possibly that it could hit is Nova Scotia. If it misses Nova Scotia, guess what? We're all going to be free and clear. Everybody on the North American continent. If it doesn't hit Nova Scotia, it's going to be out in the colder waters and the storm will dissolve. Literally dissolve. Now, I've seen this happen before. I've seen a lot of these tropical storms, tropical depressions, and other things hit. I've seen them dissolve into almost nothing. Literally. Could it happen? Yes, it absolutely could. But at this point in time, I just don't think it's going to happen. Just so you know. Okay? I've been seeing this a lot. Not just today, but during the past 3 years that we've been reporting on. Now, what happens in the Western Atlantic? What could possibly happen in the Western Atlantic? Does anybody have any idea? The Western Atlantic is very busy as well. Okay? The Pacific. How about the Pacific? Is anything going on? Yeah. Quite a bit, actually. Look at this. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong slide. I don't know why. I don't know why I tapped on that. Now, I don't know why this is not going. Oh, here it is. My bad. I've got it here. This is Tropical Storm Dora. It started over near the Mexican coast, the coast of Mexico. It's going out into the ocean, possibly headed again to Hawaii. But look at the code of uncertainty. Okay? Look at where it's going. Today is Tuesday. The storm is moving at a good rate, about 35 miles per hour. Okay? Thursday, look where it's at. Friday, look where it's at. It hasn't quite reached full peak of hurricane storm. It's only at a 65 mile per hour wind rate. Okay? Maximum gust of 65 miles per hour. So it's only a tropical storm right now. This could intensify into a full-blown hurricane in the next few days, even up until Friday or even Saturday. Then we shall see what happens on Sunday. Okay? This is what they call the cone of uncertainty. This could happen. Okay? I'm showing this plot. Several of you live in Hawaii, or you have relatives that have gone to Hawaii. I am urging everybody within the next few days, if you are going to or living in Hawaii, you need to get started with hurricane preparations. If this thing continues like this, it could be a full-blown hurricane by the weekend. Okay? It won't reach Hawaii by then, but next week it could. So folks, you need to prepare. I've been talking about this for a very long time. We need to prepare. If we don't prepare, we're only cutting our own throats. Literally. Literally. I don't want to see anybody hurt. That's the last thing that I would want to have happen. But I believe by giving you this information, you can help spread this information to people that need to see it. To people that need to see it. Okay? This could happen. I think we're getting a good enough head on the storm and getting ahead of schedule that we can possibly prevent anybody from losing their lives. This is how certain it is. Does anybody have any questions on these storms? Does anybody have any questions about these storms? Okay? That's a tropical depression headed north in the Atlantic, in the western Atlantic. Okay? One more thing about politics. We've been talking about child trafficking. We talked last week about Jason Aldean putting out a song called Not in My Town. Jason Aldean got ridiculed and beat up by country music television. And Jason Aldean pulled all of his programs off of country music television, as did a lot of other celebrity country western singers. They pulled their property off of country music television because country music television was becoming woke. They didn't want to be classified by the woke people as being too much in the pockets of people that knew the truth of what's going on in our society. Jason Aldean wrote this song, Not in My Town. Well, folks, he's been interviewed by a lot of people on television during the past 2 weeks. Jason Aldean says that he's taking the advice of his attorneys, his lawyers, in filing a $40 million defamation lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg, Sonny Houston, Joy Behar, and the rest of the ABC View show because of them calling him racist. He says, I am no racist. So he's filed a suit against The View. In my opinion, and I have not watched The View in quite some time because of their left-wing communist ways, including that dipstick Whoopi, I haven't watched it. But every time I hear what they're doing on that show, it's not good. I heard that ABC was firing Whoopi Goldberg weeks ago. Well, guess what? She's still there. The View is still on television. It should be taken off. And those people that are on The View should be standing in bread lines. Yes, they've been paid handsomely by ABC to be there. They have money, but they should be fired, and they should never see the light of day on television ever again. Okay? That is my opinion, and you can do with it what you want. Aldean is not racist, and none of the other country stars that I know are racist at all. But this country has gotten out of whack. Ever since the beginnings of the pandemic, our cities and towns have been attacked by BLM, Antifa, and the like. In Idaho, friends of mine have told me that up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and other places, when these groups have come there, guess what? they are met with gun-toting people. Everybody and their dog has a gun. Guess what? They were told that they could protest as much as they want, but if they step out of line, they're goners. And that's exactly what happened. They tried to step out of line, tried to get in fights, burn buildings down, destroy property. They were run out of towns in Idaho. They've been run out of towns here in North Carolina. What Jason Aldean did by writing that song, he just reaffirmed our country's stance. Our country's stance on civility. As a police officer, I left San Diego and moved to Colorado to get away from gangs. And folks, I could have lost my life if I had stayed there. I could not even be here possibly if I had stayed in San Diego. I moved to Denver, was still a cop there. Not the city, but the feds. Okay? Guess what? The gangs there are just as dangerous, if not more so. Denver has its own gang neighborhoods. My dear friend Carolyn Martin that came on this program today saying good afternoon, good evening from stormy Denver. Yes, they're having bad weather. And that weather is working its way across the entire United States with storms, heavy thunderstorms, and lightning and tornadoes. But this left-wing politics crap has got to stop. I have police officer friends in Denver that see it continuing. A lot of Denver cops have left the departments. A lot of Idaho police officers have left their departments because of the increased gang activity. As you know, and we talked about it 2 and 3 years ago, we saw increased Antifa and BLM going on, BLM activities going on in Oregon and Washington. We saw Portland trashed, burned. The state Supreme Court building and the federal building, they tried to burn it down. They stationed Federal Protective Service police agents on the property to keep out Antifa and BLM. And Antifa and BLM still was able to get grenades through the glass doors, the glass windows of those buildings to start fires inside. The police were told to stand down. Police officers' lives were in danger. Police have been prosecuted for stepping out of line with the communist Antifa people. The people that had been arrested by the Portland police and the Seattle police, the Vancouver police, those people were ordered to be let go. We can't possibly have these radical rioting Antifa and BLM people roaming the streets like they are. But guess what? That's exactly what's happened. They're back out on the streets and the charges were dropped. That's why Jason Aldean's song makes a lot of sense. You and I are responsible for taking back our streets. A dear friend of mine who now lives in Idaho got away from his police job. He retired early. He got away from that because his life was increasingly being put in danger. And yet his life and his father's life and other relatives of theirs served in police jobs. It was honorable. It was an honorable profession. I believe it still is. that our officers are increasingly being put in harm's way. A very dangerous thing to have happen to our own brothers and sisters in the blue. And I'm not just including the police, I'm including fire and paramedic officials as well. It's increasingly becoming so dangerous that nobody wants to be there. Okay? Don Patoka's in the chat saying being naive is not a virtue, but the evil of ignorance and omission is. Absolutely. Absolutely. Michael McKinney says if people are throwing grenades, it's a time to take care of business. I agree. We're talking about public safety here. I'm also urging all of you to be prepared. You need to be able to protect that which is yours. You need to be able to protect your life and the lives of your loved ones. Okay? If anybody would try, if I was around, if anybody tried to hurt any one of you, they wouldn't be there to do it any longer. I'm not threatening anybody's life, but I am telling you that I will protect anyone around me, as I know you would be with me. Okay? Yes, Mila, even you. Okay? Even you. I'm not going to sit down and let somebody get hurt. It's anywhere near me. Not going to happen. Read my lips. Not going to happen. Period. My friend Al Sanchez is here in the chat, a dear friend, a very, very dear friend, and cohort in crime. He says, Ron has it, R6. You're right. And you guys have mine. You guys have mine. I see my friend Laura Marie is also here from Oregon. I thank her for being here. She's a very, very dear friend of mine. A long time ago. We go way back. She's a very, very close friend of mine. Okay? It makes my blood boil when I see our nations and our cities being destroyed by what's going on. Okay? It's too bad we have to see that. It wasn't that way years and years ago when I was growing up. It wasn't that way. If you did that, you were stepping out of line, and my dad had a switch for you. A great big long-handled soup stirrer. A long-handled wooden spoon with a hole in the middle of it, about like that. And he lit up my backside many times for lesser crimes, for lesser incidents. And believe you me, that's exactly how I have been with my own kids. And most of us have. Most of us have. Folks, I truly believe we have to protect ourselves. Okay? Whatever it takes. The one whom Jesus loves says the view is trash. I agree. It's a very awful show. And yes, I truly believe that Jason Aldean wins his lawsuit. Yes, he'll be probably tied up in the courts for months, because NBC and ABC and all the other networks will be helping ABC keep it tied up. Because heaven forbid that the truth comes out. Heaven forbid that someone wins this lawsuit, trying to not just protect himself, but others. Like I said, Jason Aldean is not a racist. I am not a racist, but I will not tolerate people getting hurt. Okay? Not in my small town or anywhere else. Michael McKinney says his grandmother always got a branch of the mulberry trees. Yeah, we had a willow in one of our yards. And I got a whacking. I got a beating. I had belts. I had my dad's soup stirrer. I had his huge handprint on my butt, and I probably deserved it. Heaven forbid, and yes, I think all of us have had at one time a time when we badmouthed our mother or stepped out of line with our mother. My dad wouldn't tolerate that. Okay? No way. No way. Anyway, guys, do you have any questions about what I've been talking about so far? Because after this, I'm going to take a look at something more important called earthquakes in Southern California. Okay? Space Force Alice says, I will just tell you like this. The show needs to stop. A group of people are in control of all the governments. The agenda. And it's Agenda 21 and Agenda 30. And that is going to come to a stop very soon. Michael McKinney says at least kids had discipline back in those days. I agree. And now, heaven forbid, the parents do anything but put their child in timeout. You know what my timeout was? After I got my butt whipped, I stood in a corner with my nose up against a piece of gum that I had to chew and put in the corner and put my nose into that gum. And if I came away from it, my dad could tell, and then I'd get another whipping. Yeah, that was my timeout. But heaven forbid you can't touch your kids anymore. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. I'm not threatening anybody. I'm just telling you how it was. And should be back. Space Force South says, Alabama, I'm a female. Well, thank you for telling us that. We appreciate that. God bless you all. Okay, if nobody has any more questions about this, I want to get into the prime part of our program tonight. Seismograms from Southern California. Okay? I think this is very important as well. Okay? Al Sanchez says he had the belt on for many years. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, folks, the seismogram that I'm showing you right now is Baldwin Hills in Los Angeles. Baldwin Hills in Los Angeles. This is the oil and gas pumping area in Los Angeles. It's northwest of Los Angeles, the Baldwin Hills. It used to be the Baldwin Hills was nothing but a forested area. Well, folks, they knocked down all those trees. They bulldozed the area and put oil and gas pumping operations in there. Folks, today, this seismogram shows less activity than it ever has. The activity level here, the seismic energy here at the Baldwin Hills has gone down. Okay? It's gone down here, but it's gone up in other places. And I'm going to let you take a look at that in just a second. It's gone up in other places. Now, folks, what do you think has happened? And there's a reason for all this. I'm just asking you if anybody has an idea of how this happened. Why does the seismic energy go down in one place and up in the other? Okay? It's a good question. And I know there's a lot of answers to it. I'm just wondering if any of you even know. Michael McKinney says the energy's moved. Oh yes, absolutely it has. But the faults still have that energy in them. The fault may not be moving at the time that this seismogram was being printed. The area has not been pushing as hard, and so we're not seeing that much energy here. But that can change, and it can change in a heartbeat. We've seen that over the years. Okay? I personally have seen that all over the country. Okay? Things change. They will continue to change. Okay? The energy's moving, magma's moving, and folks, I have something on the program tonight that might give you some ideas to wander with. Al Sanchez says a slight buckling of the plate. That's another good answer. That also is a good possibility. Buckling of the plate. Okay? Let's go over to, Camarillo. Camarillo. This is a town in Los Angeles, guys. Look at this. This has not always been this way either. This is less energy shown here on this seismogram in Camarillo. Okay? All of this is nothing but minor tiny tremors. And there are some microquakes here as well. But Camarillo has also settled down. Okay? Let's go over to Catalina Island, out in the ocean, just off the coast of Los Angeles. This seismogram comes from the Catalina airport. Look at this. Nothing but microquakes and minor tremors. Very tiny tremors. Catalina Island. And we're going to show some other islands here in a minute that is going to blow your mind. For example, Channel Islands. Look at this. Look at this. Channel Islands has the seismicity increasing here. The strength of the seismic energy has increased here. Okay? The Channel Islands. Look at this. Yes, we have nothing but tremors here, but that's a big one. That's a big one. This seismogram was starting to be recorded at 9 p.m. last night. Well, just after 8:30, I'm sorry, it was 17:05 p.m. yesterday evening. At approximately 8:05 or 8:20 p.m. last night, I believe there was a 2.5 earthquake. You can see it there on the 8:30 red line there. Okay, you see 2000? The red line is 8:30, or 8:15, I'm sorry. It's 8:15 over on the left. We go over 5 minutes at 8:20. Look at that line going straight up. This was at least a 2.5 earthquake. All the rest of this stuff is pretty much tremors. Pretty much tremors. Let's continue. Okay? Chino. You folks that live in Chino, there are a number of you here in our family. Chino's seismicity has increased as well. It was, during the past few weeks, nothing but spotty tremors at best. Spotty tremors at best. Now it's almost continuous tremors. Okay? Some of those tremors got larger than that. Okay? Down at the bottom on the green line. Okay? This was 12:40, excuse me, no. Yes, it was 12:45 p.m. today on that green line. We go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes over to the left. We see one earthquake there, and yes, it's an earthquake. It goes almost down to the bottom of the paper. And guess what? That would be a 2.5 earthquake. The one to the right of that, just about 30, 45 seconds later, guess what? That looks like a 2.7 earthquake. A 2.7 earthquake. tremors and small earthquakes like this. Okay? This is Chino, California. We have a seismic increase. More earthquakes and stronger events. Okay? I'm going to call them events. So that's Chino. I'm doing an ABC type of thing here. Then we'll go out to the desert. Then we will go down south. Okay? This is Del Amo. Look at this. This is also a substantial increase in seismic activity in Del Amo. Look at that. Up at the top on the red line, we see seismic activity reaching off the paper. At least a 2.0 earthquake, two of them. 2.0 minor earthquake. Right? Look at all the other activity. It's all tremors, but it's almost occupying every piece left to right, bottom to top on the seismogram. Almost no white. It's all color. It's all color. That's Del Amo. How about let's go over to the coastline, Laguna Bell. Laguna Bell has also increased. Okay? It was a lot less than this last week. Yes, there's nothing but tremors here, just very, very minor tremors. There are no microquakes here. This is all tremors. Laguna Bell, on the coast. On the coast. How about out to Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey, up along the northwest coast of Los Angeles. Okay, here. This is also an increase in seismicity here along the coast. There's a lot of very, very fine homes over there in Laguna Bell, a lot of fine homes and boats over in Playa del Rey and Marina del Rey area. Look at the seismic activity. Okay? It's continued almost all day until early this morning, just after midnight, it calmed down. Okay? Last week it was less than that. A lot less. Last week was nothing but microquakes and holes where there was no activity at all. Okay? That's Playa del Rey. Let's go over to the city county offices in downtown Los Angeles. Look at this. The seismicity here in Los Angeles has neither increased or decreased. It's pretty much stayed the same. These are long duration minor tremors. 1.0, 1.1 tremors. I don't see anything more than a 1.2 tremor here at all. Okay? Again, this is almost like a decrease in Los Angeles. Almost. Let's look here. Let's go over to Mariloma. Mariloma. This is on the eastern side of the LA area. Okay? Mariloma is where we've seen 2.0 earthquakes and tremors all over this area. This is just west of Loma Linda, where the medical center is. All we have here are tremors. These are all tremors. 1.2, 1.3 tremors, almost all of them. Yes, there's a few that are larger than that, 1.4, 1.5 maybe. But that's the top of it. This is also an increase, a seismic increase at Mariloma. Okay? Let's continue here. Let's go over to Moore Park. Look at this. This is also a seismic increase at Moore Park. The tremor rate is continuing. We have absolutely no 2.0 or large earthquakes at all. These are continued tremors here. Up at the top towards the left or the right center. The right center. You see one mark going nearly off the paper. Nearly. This is probably a 1.8 tremor. A 1.8 tremor. There is nothing larger than that here on this seismogram. So guess what? Moore Park is safe as well. Let's keep going here. I want to show you Rancho Palos Verdes. This is over near the western side of Los Angeles. Okay? This is right east of the harbor area. Okay? Folks, this seems to be a seismic increase here at Rancho Palos Verdes. Okay? Yes, we have nothing but tremors here, but the tremors are getting larger, aren't they? There are microquake activity here as well. Minus 0.1, minus 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, etc. But the tremors are the largest signatures here that you see. Okay? My ex used to live over here. Okay? So that's there. I want to show you, I showed you Moore Park. Let's look at Pardee. P-A-R-D-E. This is Pardee. In the past, we've shown you the same seismogram, and it goes back and forth. This is a seismic increase from what we saw last week. More and more larger tremors. I believe we only have one earthquake, and that's down at the bottom on the red line, which in this case is 1:18 p.m. this afternoon. That may have been a 2.0 earthquake. If it's not, it's a 1.8 tremor. But you can see the tremors here. They're all over. Every couple of minutes there's a new tremor, and it seems like it's gotten larger as well. Okay, let's continue. Let's go over to Rio Hondo. Rio Hondo. This is where we have a seismic increase here as well. Yes, every one of these are tremors, all of them. There are no microquakes on this seismogram. These are continuous tremors. Continuous tremors. Most of these are 1.4, 1.5 tremors. There is nothing larger than that on this seismogram. But what you need to understand with this, these could be earthquakes, long duration earthquakes. In fact, they are called that. Temblors. The scientists call them earthquakes. I'm trying to differentiate between a tremor and a full-blown quake. 2.0 and larger are full-blown earthquakes. Anything smaller is nothing but tremors or microquakes. Okay, that's Rio Hondo. Rinaldi. Look at this. There are nothing here but tremors. Some of them larger than others. 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 tremors. This is what we have happening in Rinaldi. Nobody's feeling these, guys. Nobody's feeling them. Yet. I want to throw that in as yet. Because things are happening in Los Angeles. You may not see it here, right here, but you're going to see it. That you can take to the bank. Now I want to go out to Barstow, out to the desert. Look at this. The size of the tremors have gone down. Okay? All you see here is 0.1 tremor and microquakes. Okay? Tiny tremors here. Some of them are longer than others. 1 minute, 3 minute tremors. The rest of it is all microquake activity. Okay? This again can't be felt. But you can see that it has gone down from what it was. Okay, let's keep going. I want to take you out to a place that we call the Anza Gap. The Anza Gap. This is Cabazon, California. Cabazon, California. Usually USGS shows us 1.2 tremors, 1.4 tremors. We've had 1.7 tremors here. Look what we're showing you. Again, we have 1.7 tremors here. We may even have 1.8 tremors here. They're not long duration. 1.1, 1.0 is here. But you can tell when there's larger tremors here. It's moving. The ground is definitely moving here. You can see that. Okay? Now, I'm going to get out of this seismogram just for a second. I want to show you what's happened in Cabazon. I'm going to zoom in here in just a second. I want to show you what Cabazon is looking like right now. This is Cabazon. They're showing a 0.7 microquake. A 0.7 microquake. You see it's on the San Andreas Fault. It's interesting how they can get away with this. Okay? Because what did I just get through showing you? Right here. It's not just one 0.7 microquake. We have larger tremors here, not microquakes. Again, the agency's not reporting any of this. They only want you to see what you see, and that's it. That's why I'm showing you what the real events are. Seismicity has increased. The number and the size of these events has increased from last week, and the week before that, and the week before that. It's definitely increased, guys. Let's continue. The next thing I'm going to show you is up at Lancaster out in the desert. This is Fox Airport in Lancaster. Okay, look at the tremors here. Off and on. 1.1. 1.0. And then over here after 8:30 this morning. 8:34 this morning on the blue line. 1.3, 1.4 tremor. That's the largest event today out in the desert. Interesting, huh? To me, it's very interesting. Okay? It seems almost crazy. Almost crazy. Now, I want to show you something else. Over in Fontana, look at this. This is definitely a huge increase in seismic activity out in Fontana. This is Cal Electric in Fontana. It's not just tremors here, we have earthquake. Earthquake after earthquake after earthquake. These folks are 2.5 to 3.0 earthquakes on this seismogram. You can tell where the longer lines are, the different colors. The longest line I believe is here, is just after 8:03 a.m. this morning. Okay? I'm sorry, no, that's not true. 8:18 on the red line. You go over to 08 on the left-hand side, you go over 3 minutes and you come to that red line there. It goes straight up in the air, you don't see the bottom of it. Folks, that's at least a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. That could actually be a 3, but I can't see the bottom of it. But this is real. Out in the outskirts of the LA basin, we're having larger earthquakes. Larger earthquakes. You see it here. It's plain and simple. You folks that are out there, you are going to have larger earthquakes. And it's going to be crazy. You may feel some movement beneath your feet, and then all of a sudden you're going to not just feel it, you're going to experience it. You're going to completely experience it. Okay? I'm just telling you. It may not be pleasant at first either. I'm just saying. Now, I've told you in the past about China Lake. Okay? We told you in the past that China Lake could possibly be a volcano. Folks, I'm here to tell you right now, China Lake is a volcano. I found it on the map. It has 2 different seismograms. 2 separate and distinct seismograms. Okay? Just so you know. I'm going to show you a lot of information tonight that you may not have seen before. Okay? Some of it might not be too pleasant to talk about. But talk about it we are going to do. Okay? I've been doing earthquake monitoring for quite some time. Usually we see seismic activity every day. Literally. Literally. Okay? Sometimes we see a lot of it. 150, 200, 250 seismograms a day. Guess what? It's gotten larger. It has gotten larger. Like I said, I found today 2 different seismograms. Both of them China Lake. Both of them China Lake. I also found out there's a volcano there, just barely on the north end of NAS China Lake. Okay? I found it to be astounding. I found it to be very astounding. It's a wake-up call. It's honestly a wake-up call to all of us. And you might ask why. Because finally, after going through all of these records over and over and over every day, every week, I've finally proven that we have a volcano down there. No, we did not see a magma churn signal. However, we found the volcano on Google Earth. And I'm going to show you that volcano in just a minute. Okay? I'm just pulling one more seismogram up here so you can see it. And you can take all this information to the bank. When I found information today, it blew my mind. Because we had been talking about all of this activity that we'd seen out by China Lake Ridgecrest, right? It blows my mind. It literally blows my mind. Look at this. This is a USGS earthquake seismogram. Up at the top of it, you see magma. Each individual horizontal line here is reporting 15 minutes of activity. 15 minutes of activity. On this seismogram, we're seeing magma infill at the China Lake volcano. The China Lake volcano. This seismogram started out at 5 p.m. last night. And you see at the top of this that there is magma infill. Pulsed magma activity. PULSED magma activity. Where the lines are thinner and get thicker and get thinner again. Okay? I've always wondered whether we could find out that this was a volcano, and I have. And I'll show you that in just a minute. Look at the activities early this morning. Okay? Last night, they got less and less, didn't they? Less and less, and they turned the seismogram way down. The seismograph had been turned way down, and all we see on the seismogram is low readings. Then they turned it back up. Not all the way up, but they turned it back up. And look at this. We see magma going through the magma chambers of this volcano. Ridgecrest, China Lake. Look at all that magma, guys. And when magma is going through the magma chamber here, it's causing earthquakes. It's causing earthquakes. You can see that over on the left-hand side here. This happened at 10:30 a.m. this morning. Now, I don't have any magma churn signals. At this particular location, we've never been seeing any magma churn signals at all. If we had magma churn signals, we would be able to determine how far down the seismograph has been turned. Okay? I believe what we're seeing is maybe 26 or 30% of real world. So this earthquake that may look like a 2.0 earthquake over here just after 10:30 a.m. this morning, Pacific time, could actually be a lot larger than that. Even as large as a 3.0, 3.5 earthquake. And these others, tremors right here as we see it, but they could also be larger earthquakes as well. Then we go on. After 3 p.m., they turn down the seismograph again. You turn it down. And there's hardly anything showing here. Okay? Let me show you another seismogram here. I want to show you what we found. Like I said, up until now, all we thought we had here was a magma channel underneath this area. Okay? Wait till I show you what we now have. Okay, where did it go here? right here is a map. Okay? I'm going to enlarge this so you can see what I'm seeing here. Over in that, near the top of this side, this map, you see a volcano. That red circle is showing where the China Lake volcano is. Okay? Down here towards the bottom of this map, you see it says Naval Station what? Naval Weapons Station. Naval Weapons Center. China Lake, NAS China Lake. It's a Naval Weapons Center where they test weapons and planes. Okay? They had underground facilities, tunnels, until Ridgecrest earthquake hit. And as I said back in the day when Ridgecrest earthquake hit, 4 years ago, at the time, we didn't know about this earthquake. I mean this volcano. We saw all kinds of earthquakes happening, upwards of an 8.0. They tried to pawn it off that one as a 7.1. The day before that, we had two 6.9s, and I told you this story before. They took one completely down, and they reduced that other quake from a 6.9 to a 6.4. I still have the information. Now that earthquake that happened on July 4th, the big one they said was a 7.1, is an 8.0. All kinds of seismographic activity. Earthquake after earthquake. There are over 10,000 earthquakes within a month's period, before and after Ridgecrest earthquake hit. But you can see the Naval Air Weapons Station here. You can see where China Lake is. Just north of that weapons station is the China Lake volcano. The China Lake volcano. Now, yes, I have bigger fish to fry. Look at this. I've zoomed in on it. Right here. That's where the volcano is located. Okay, hold on. I believe I've got something else to show you here. There it is right there. Volcano Peak, China Lake. I found it on Google Earth. I took the same longitude and latitude figures from that map, plugged it into Google Earth, and guess what? We do have a volcano at China Lake. And all this time we've been showing you these seismograms showing magma. Well, guess what? That magma is out at China Lake, and it is going to the volcano. Okay? It is going to that volcano. Folks, I would appreciate it if all of you would pay attention to what I'm talking about. Yes, Grandma L is saying Planet X is visiting. Yes, it is busy. Pole shift. Yes, we're having a pole shift. A lot is going on. But no one can tell me that the Planet X and the pole shift have anything to do with these volcanoes and these earthquakes. Yes, they do. Very few scientists will say, oh, it has nothing to do with the other. Yes, it does. And yes, I'll get into Planet X another day. And we'll talk more about the pole shift another day. But right now, we're talking about Southern California earthquakes. And I'm trying to show you, yes, there is a volcano out at China Lake. That is why those tunnels at NAS China Lake were being filled with magma. The earthquake at Ridgecrest China Lake happened, and then it also, with the earth moved, it allowed magma to travel from the magma channels down into the tunnels of NAS China Lake. That's why we have seismograms at China Lake showing magma. This is new. I did not find this until today, but I believe it has worth, because now we also have another volcano, and it's showing a lot of activity. I just showed you that seismogram. Okay? China Lake is active. A volcano. Yes, we have earthquakes out there. There are earthquake faults out there. A lot of them. Yes, we're seeing a lot of magma activity as well, causing earthquakes. Earthquake skies. Proven it. We proved it to you, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, before I continue with any more, I want to show you one over in Light Hype. Okay, this is the Long Beach area. Look at this. Look at this, guys. It starts out at 5 a.m. this morning. Look at the top of this. Okay, right after 5 o'clock this morning, before 5:01, probably about 5 a.m. and 45 seconds. We have a 2.0 earthquake that reaches off the paper here, don't we? Further down the line, we have another one here. We have a lot of tremors also trying to reach up here, don't we? Look at the lines on here, guys. Look on the lines of this seismogram. This is huge. Just a few weeks ago, Light Hype was settling down. I honestly thought the seismic energy was going to go to a new low. Now it's picked back up. There almost is no white on this seismogram. This is all seismic activity in Long Beach. Let's go over to State Street in Long Beach. Okay? Look at this. The same thing applies with Light Hype here at State Street. The two locations are very close to each other. Look at the earthquakes and tremors hitting here. It's not as full as Light Hype was, but it has been. We're still getting 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here. It's constant. On this bottom green line, okay, this would be 345 on the left-hand side. Okay, we have seismic energy reaching down that would say at least a 2.0, 2.2 magnitude earthquake right there. And there's several others on this bottom green line as well. On the red line above it, over towards the right, we have another 2.0, 2.3 magnitude quake there, minor earthquake. But you see these longer lines here on this seismogram. That could also show us larger quakes as well, but we only see the uprising of the earthquake. We can't see the bottom of it because of activities that happen after that. So Long Beach is very active, isn't it? Absolutely it is. Seismic activity has picked up in Los Angeles. A lot of it. Del Amo, Light Hype, State Street, Cal Electric over in Fontana. It's all increased. Laguna Bell has increased as well. There's something else that I want to show you. Okay? Hold on a second. I'm taking you now to another volcano. This is Walnut La Puente, California. This is a huge caldera. Look at this. I kid you not. Folks, we have 3.0 earthquakes hitting here. The seismic waves are huge. This is just like Bombay Beach. Just like we see at Bombay Beach. This is a definite increase in seismic activity over here at the Walnut La Puente area. Okay, look at that. Yes, we have a ton of tremors, just minor tremors. But we also have larger earthquakes up at the top on the red line at the right. Okay, that seismic signal there is at least a 2.5. You don't see the bottom of it because of the activity after that. But you can see the activity here. 3.0 earthquakes, 3.5 earthquakes. Look at that. It's all over the place. Okay? That's in Los Angeles, guys. That's in LA. Let's go over to San Diego. I've been waiting to show you, well, before we get to San Diego, let's go out to the desert area first. Let's go out to Hemet. This is the San Jacinto campus, college campus in Hemet, California. All we see here are tremors. This is also an increase in activity over the past 2 years. It's continually increased here at the San Jacinto campus. Okay? It's increased out there, guys. Huge increase. Huge, huge, huge increase. Okay? Really quickly, I want to show you a couple other things here. Isaiah's granny monitors this show, and she's not here tonight. Sometimes she's in and out. I know what she's doing. She's a good friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine. I love her to pieces. Folks, look at this. This is the seismic activity caused by the San Andreas Fault in Victorville, California. Yes, all these are tremors. Nothing but tremors here. This is definitely an increase from what it was even last week. Seismic activity is kicking up. Without a doubt. Not even a doubt in my mind. Now I'm going over to San Diego really quick. I'm only going to touch on San Diego, and then we're going over to the Salton Sea area, Imperial County, California. Folks, over at the gas and electric building in San Diego, it's called San Diego Mission Control. It's in Mission Valley, on the western side of Mission Valley and just north of the Mission Valley Shopping Center. We have tremors here. Folks, we're getting to see more and more tremors here at the San Diego Gas and Electric Building. This is the fault zone. The Rose Canyon Fault comes out of the city of Los Angeles, the Newport Inglewood Fault. It goes out through under the water of the Pacific. It goes into land again in Encinitas, California. San Diego, North County. Then it comes down here through the coastal areas of San Diego. It's getting picked up by the seismograph at the San Diego Gas and Electric Building. We're seeing it here. Then on the eastern side of San Diego, there's something else here. Okay? I want to show you a town, a seismogram I want to show you from the east side of San Diego County. Okay? This is the casino at Pechanga, which is just northeast of El Cajon. Look at this. More and more tremors here at Pechanga as well. This is the Elsinore Fault. The same fault that is showing tremors and earthquakes at Palomar Mountain, which is the observatory. The Astronomical Observatory in northeast San Diego County. This is a lot further south and east, out east of El Cajon. These we see tremors, constant tremor activity. Just every couple of minutes there's tremors. At first, at the beginning of the day today at 5 a.m. this morning, it was almost 1.1 tremors and that's it. 1.0, 1.1 tremors. It continued. Look at all the tremors here at Pechanga Casino. Now I'm going to take you over the mountain, over the Brown Chocolate Mountains, into Imperial County, California. Okay? Over near the Salton Sea. Okay? I'm going to start this tour of the Imperial County at El Centro Naval Air Station. Our friend Juanito lives over here in El Centro. This is what it looked like today. We've been showing you increased seismic activity at El Centro as well. Every one of these large earthquakes are 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. Every one of them. The smaller are minor earthquakes. 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes. Yes, we do have some tremors here as well. But these are 3.0, 3.5 small earthquakes. El Centro, California. This is at the Naval Air Station, El Centro. Okay? Let's keep moving. I want to show you Salton Sea, Imperial, the town of Imperial. Look at this. We've seen larger activity here at the town of Imperial before. But the tremors are continuing here. We don't have any earthquakes to speak of here at Imperial. But the tremors are not stopping. The tremors are not stopping here in the town of Imperial. Now I want to show you something else here. If we go north from Imperial, we're going to come to a town called Westmoreland. Look at this. 1.3, 1.2, 1.4, 1.5 tremors. And then, just after 10 p.m. last night, over here on the right on the black line, 2200 hours over on the left, that's 10 p.m. And then we follow that black line to the right. All of a sudden, we have over 3 minutes of tremor activity. Okay? Look at the bottom here. Towards the bottom. After 0700 this morning, on the red line, which on the left would be 7:15. Only 3 minutes later, we have a 2.0 earthquake. And after that, it goes far out to the right. Almost like a cone. A secondary wave. And that lasts for another minute. Then it goes into a body wave. And that continues on for another 3 minutes. Down below it, we have more seismic activity here. Okay, that's Westmoreland. Seismic activity is rocking and rolling there. It's not big, it's continuous. This is not big activity, it's just continuous. I want to make sure we understand that. Okay, I want to go to Holtville. This is Holtville, California. This is the Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville. We've seen larger activity before. All of this is minor tremors. All of this is minor tremors, and yes, we do have some microquakes here as well. But all of this larger activity is all tremors. It's not stopping. We haven't had a bigger earthquake in a while here, at least a month or so. But over in Holtville, the ground's still shaking. USGS doesn't show it. There are minor fault lines all over the Imperial Valley that are associated with what? The San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault. That's why you can see earthquakes in Imperial. That's why you can see earthquakes down in Holtville. Okay? But what happens when you go north of the Salton Sea? What happens when we go north of the Salton Sea, such as the northeast corner of the Salton Sea? This is North Shore Salton Sea. There's a town out there on the northeast end of the Salton Sea. They're also seeing tremors. There are some microquakes. Most of this is 1.0 tremors and larger, 1.3, 1.4, maybe even 1.5 here at, let's look at this time element here, just after 10 a.m. this morning, 10:30 a.m. on the blue line. Okay, that's over on the North Shore of Salton Sea. How about over on the west side of the Salton Sea? There's a town called Salton City. There's a town called Salton City. And folks, it used to be a thriving town back in the 40s and 50s. Now it's a ghost town. But we're still having tremor activity up here. Some of this is related to the Salton Butte volcano. The Salton Butte volcano head, the head of the volcano, the summit of the volcano is located on the southern side of the Salton Sea, underwater. Underwater. This is what it shows over on the western side. It's just above the center western side of the Salton Sea, Salton City, okay, or Salton Beach. I want to show you what we're going to show you now, okay? This is Bombay Beach. Bombay Beach is on the east side of the Salton Sea. Look what we're showing you now. This is one of the first times where we're only seeing one seismic signal. Only one seismic signal that they met with, or screwed up. Okay? It's over on the right-hand side on the black line here. Then it continues on the red line on the left-hand side. It started out at 7:13 a.m. this morning, just tremors. It built and built and built. Then it comes over to 7:15 on the left-hand side. It's full-blown earthquake right before it gets here. This earthquake continued for another 2 minutes. Then it rapidly dissipated into a secondary wave, dissipated into a body wave, and quickly built up again to a 2.0 earthquake, which lasted another 2 minutes. Look at these other quakes here. That one in the red, I believe they topped off, but all the rest of these are not. I don't think any of the rest of these are topped off. So we're actually seeing the strength of these earthquakes here. Yes, we have some 2.5, 2.7s. We also have some 3.0s. 3.0s as well. That's the Salton Sea. One more place to stop here. One more place. That is right here. This is over on the north, excuse me, not the north, the southeast end of the Salton Sea. Nyland, Calipatria, California. Nyland and Calipatria, California. Okay? This is a Caltech seismogram published by the USGS. Okay? Look at the tremors here. This was last night. Okay? This seismogram was captured starting at 5 p.m. last night. Look at all the tremors here. There are about 35, 40 tremors here. 2.0 earthquakes. The longer earthquakes are 2.0. Then I believe they turned down the seismogram again because we still see these tremors, and I will bet you that the seismogram or seismograph itself wasn't turned down, that these tiny tremors would be larger. Because all of a sudden out of nowhere, I mean, look at the time element here. Just after 2:15, this was about 2:18 this morning, we have a 2.0 earthquake. And then a bunch of tremors again. And then 2.0 earthquakes off and on the rest of the day. Okay? Now after 6 a.m., they continue and they get bigger and bigger. Look at this afternoon today. Look at that. Down at the bottom, folks, 2.5 earthquakes. Down at the bottom, 2.5 earthquakes. And they happened after 1:45 p.m. this afternoon. Okay? This seismograph alone recorded close to 100 earthquakes here. Maybe a little bit over that. I didn't get to this particular seismogram, I did not get to count the earthquakes today. But I believe there's close to 100, if not over that, on just this seismogram. That's a pretty big deal, guys. A pretty big deal. Does anybody have any questions about California? I know I've done it very, very quickly. I didn't show you all the seismograms I had either. I showed you the major activity. The major activity in the Southern California area. And I also made sure that you found out that there was a volcano out at China Lake. Definitely a volcano. Any questions? Michael McKinney says, with all these EVs, will there be much demand for lithium? If they continue to make electric vehicles, they're going to continue to make lithium batteries. They're already making lithium batteries for skill saws and drills and all kinds of other construction equipment. Those batteries are lithium. My watch has a lithium battery, a tiny lithium battery. So lithium is going to be continued to show everything going on. Al Sanchez, did you show us Baldwin Hills? I did. I did. You can go back through this program and find it. I showed it right near the beginning of this seismogram portion of our program. Does anybody have any questions about what we've talked about? I've gone very fast and I think very thorough. Yes, I believe that there's seismic activity that's coming down the pike at each and every one of us. We had a lot of activity up along the northern shore of Canada. A lot of activity. There were two minor tremors, not even minor tremors, two minor earthquakes off the west coast of Queen Charlotte Island. We had a couple of others off the west coast of Vancouver Island. Up in the tundra area of Canada, the northern territories of Canada, we had two 4.0, 4.5 magnitude earthquakes today. A big deal. A big deal. And in fact, okay, going back here to the USGS map, I'm going to take down my now I think I made a mistake. It wasn't 4.5. I thought it was. This is a 1.6 tremor up here in northern Alaska. Northern Alaska. There were two other earthquakes up here in Katavik, Alaska, right up in here. Okay? 2.7 earthquake at Katavik. Just south of it was a 2.4. Then further south over here was this tremor here. This, folks, is at the Arctic Circle. This area is the Arctic Circle here. This is tundra. A 1.6 tremor in the tundra of Alaska. Okay? Then let's go over here to mainland United States. And they've taken it down. We'll all be dipped. They took the darn thing down. Go figure. Okay, I'm going to show it to you here. I'm going to keep this map up because I want you to see the different sides of this. Okay? This is a 2.37 magnitude earthquake. This is in the Northern Territories. It's in Canada, in the Northern Territories of Canada. A 2.37 near Inuvik, Northern Territories of Canada. Now, we go south. This is in Dawson, Yukon Territory. This is the 2.3 in Dawson, Yukon Territories, a 2.3. We have had a bunch of earthquakes, 2s, 3s, and 4s here in the Northern Territories of Canada. Okay? This is Skagway, Alaska. There's a volcano there, a 1.26 tremor at Skagway. Again, we go south. We've had more earthquakes than just two. Where's this? Queen Charlotte Island. There's 9 earthquakes at Queen Charlotte Island. Now earlier there were several 2s, or there was 2 2s and a 3. Now we have, I'm going north to south here, talking about this. A 1.05 on the very far north. A 2.6. Here's the 2.6, just off the coast of Queen Charlotte. USGS, not showing it. They're not showing anything there. Right next to that is a 1.24. This is a 1.24 right there, right next to that one. We go south, and these are where the other earthquakes have gotten hold here since we've been on the air. Okay? Out to sea. This is a 1.53. It's on the shelf area, guys. It's on the shelf just west of the Cascadia subduction zone here. See that red line? We go back east at the Cascadia subduction zone. We have a 1.0 tremor there. I'm going to show you or tell you about what these other three are, north to south. 1.09, 1.29, and 1.11. So we had 1s and 2s here at Queen Charlotte Island. That's not all, folks. Not at all. Over on the north side of Vancouver Island, near Port Alice, this is a 1.05 tremor here. The northwest side of Vancouver Island. We continue south to near the center of Vancouver Island at Euclid, British Columbia. We have a 1.02. 1.02 today. USGS says nothing. Not a thing. Not a darn thing. And now they've locked it up. Hold on a second. Hold on a second, I screwed up there. Just a second, I can get it back. Oh, we got our map back. How about that? Okay, let me enlarge this back here for you. And we also had an earthquake. Guess what? We had an earthquake in Australia today. Central Australia. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Let's go back up here to the north. The Pacific Northwest. Look at this, guys. Look at this. We're showing some quakes, aren't we? Up here, this is TWISP, TWISP, Washington. At 0.4 microquake. They say this is a 0.8 explosion. Okay, Monroe, Washington. 2 miles southwest of Monroe, Washington. Let's take a look at this, okay? It's out in the middle of a field. There are no quarries here. This is a field. This is right next to a house. There's no explosion here. There's no explosion. This is a microquake, guys. This is 0.3 miles deep. This is just less than a quarter mile deep. This is not an explosion. How do you have an explosion beneath the surface? Especially when there's no quarry. USGS, why? Tell us why. This is also just east of the Puget Sound. We come down to Mount Rainier. Again, they locate this at, from 7 miles northeast of Ashford, Washington. No, it's not. It's at Mount Rainier. A 0.3 microquake. Over here, just south of there, 1.0 tremor. 3 miles northwest of Ashford. No, it's not. It's in the foothills of Mount Rainier. South of there here. This is a 1.5 in Mossy Rock, a tremor. Over here, just on the northeast side of Mount St. Helens, we have a tremor here. A 1.2 tremor. This, folks, is 1.2 miles deep in the magma chamber of that volcano. Over to the west, this is 0.7 microquake again. Okay? That's what's going on. Right here, this is Oregon, 1.3 tremor here. This happened just after 2 o'clock. Then we have another explosion. Spontaneous combustus carnivorous. Spontaneous combustus carnivorous. Out in the middle of a field of trees. This is all trees. There are no quarries around here, guys. There's no quarries around here. That's not a quarry, it's open land. There's no quarries. This was not an explosion. 0.3 miles deep. Not an explosion. A 1.4 tremor. Spontaneous combustus carnivorous. Go figure. Go figure. You know, they want to tell us something that they know nothing about. When we were on the air, right after we went on the air earlier tonight, this happened. This is off the coast of Port Orford, Oregon. Port Orford, Oregon. This is a 4.0 magnitude earthquake. A 4.0 magnitude earthquake. This is 8.7 miles deep on the Blanco fracture zone. Right at the point of the Blanco fracture zone and the Gorda Ridge. The Blanco fracture zone and the Gorda Ridge here. Okay? Down here on the southern end of the Cascadia subduction region, we have a 1.8 off the coast of Ferndale, California. We have a 2.5 over here northeast of Petrolia, and we have a 1.9 tremor here, 1.9 2.0 earthquake over here in Petrolia. Okay? These are in the Cascadia subduction zone region, the southern region. Okay? Now, over here on the East Coast, look what we're showing here. North of Canada. This is between Canada and Greenland. This is a 4.3 in the Davis Strait. Moderate earthquake over in the Davis Strait. This is 9 miles deep. Not to be outdone, folks, there are earthquakes over there in northern Canada, northeastern Canada today. Okay? Oh, you stupid. Okay? There were 2 of them, they've taken one of them down. This is in Quebec province of Canada. This is a 1.22 tremor here. Okay? Hold on a second. This is a 1.22 tremor up here in Quebec province, Canada. Okay? And there was one just south of there they took down. Okay? We've had a lot of earthquakes over here along the southern Mexico area and over here in Central America as well. We've had 18 earthquakes in South America, just to let you know. Seismic energy is moving. Okay? I just showed you earthquakes coming from the north and also coming from the south. Things are happening, guys. There's going to be earthquakes all along the coast of California. Literally. One of my friends sent me a text message earlier showing me some tremors over at the geysers, 100 miles north of San Francisco Bay. As I explained to her, all those tremors there are at the geysers, a geothermal area where men have drilled into the upper magma chambers of the Clear Lake volcano to pull steam from the Clear Lake volcano. It's happening. It happens all the time. Do people realize it? Most of them don't. Most of them don't. Which is sad. A ton of tremors over there at the geysers. Every time we have a drill point, whether it's for oil and gas or steam, seismic energy seeks out those drill points that are human-made earthquake faults. And it comes in and fractures the rock. That's how we get earthquakes all over the place. We've shown you, yesterday we showed you over in Oklahoma and Texas, show it all the time. They drill for oil and they get it. They get hit. And then they wonder why. Folks, I have something else for you tonight that I want to show you. I think this will say a lot for everything that's happened already. Okay? Right here. A lot of us are in it up to our ears. A lot of us have a lot of things going on in our lives. Some people would like to believe that God has forgotten us. Some people would like us to believe that He doesn't hear and answer prayers. Folks, I am here still. During the past 4 years, actually a lot longer than that, since about 2014, I've had a lot of health problems. Twice, my health problems should have killed me, and I'm still here. During my career when I was a police officer, there have been many times where events happened that could have ended my life. I'm still here. My mission here on this earth is not over. God is still writing our story with us. We are also fulfilling our mission here on this earth. God loves us. Jesus Christ is God's Son. I know that. Jesus Christ died and was resurrected for all of us. He paved the way for us to be able to return to our Heavenly Father in His kingdom. All we have to do is work at it. Work out every day the best that we can. May all of us be aware of that. Don't stop writing your story. Continue working out your life story with God. Pray. Pray and ponder the scriptures, all of the scriptures. Pray and ponder. Find out for yourself that they're true. And I promise you you'll find out. God loves you. God is here with us. I felt His Spirit many times over the past few weeks, very strongly. I felt His Spirit many times during my life, but especially very strong during the last few weeks. Folks, I love you all. I ask the Lord's finest blessings upon you. In the name of His Son, Jesus Christ, I care about you. May God continue to bless us and keep us. I want to thank all of us for being here tonight. We have 108 thumbs up. That's wonderful. Yesterday we had 140. Please, folks, hit the thumbs up. I hope that a lot of you stayed through the end of this program tonight. You had a lot to say. Why? Because I care about you. I want you to have as much information as necessary to save your lives. That's why we talked about this. Everything in this program is absolutely necessary. Please tell your family, your friends, your neighbors. Tell your social media contacts and even the people you work with. They need this information as well. Hopefully it'll save their lives as well. I did not see our friend Rob here. I believe he's picking up his wife from the airport tonight. I hope everyone has had a safe journey home tonight. Rob's wife and everybody included. One of our EMA family members, KRE8, KRE and the number 8, is in the hospital. I didn't have enough time to read why she was in the hospital, except she said earlier today that she was having a tumor removed. So I want to ask everybody to pray for each one of us in our family. All of you are amazing. We love you. We want you here with our family. Please tell everyone about this program. Share it. Share it far and wide. I share it on Facebook. I share it on Instagram. I share it on MeWe. I share it on Telegram. And hopefully when Parler gets back with whatever they're going to call it, I'll share it there again. I share it as far as possible. Everybody needs to do the same, please. Let's grow the size of our family. Again, we're still under 1,500 members. I would love to get that over 1,500, 1,700, 2,000, 5,000, 10, 20, 25,000 again, very soon. May God be with us this day and always. May God be with you until we meet again. I care about you guys, folks. I hope you have a great night and a better tomorrow. If anything else happens tonight, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, may the Lord's closest, richest blessings come upon you. We will see you around the corner. Good night, everybody.